Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we're going to the Sanhedrin daf Sadi Ches. We're going to begin on Sadi Ches Manaf, about 8 lines from the top. V'yomer Rabbi Abba. So we've been learning about Mashiach, and now we continue with the following expressions. Ein locha kates megula mizeh. There is nothing more revealed than this ending. In other words, no learner in a pasuk is necessarily about Mashiach. When Eretz Yisrael begins to produce big fruits, that in fact will be a visual aid to us. Shneim Rabbi Yatem Hari Yisrael Anavchem Titnu, that there will be their leaves that will grow. O Perichem Tisul Ami Yisrael v'Gomer, and it will give forth fruits once again. Rabbi Elazar Omer, Af Mizesh Nemer Kilif Nehayomim Ha'elan. In these days, before these days happen of Mashiach, Ha'hem Sachar Adam Lo Niyeh V'Schar Behema Einena, that a person will earn money, and there'll be an issue of being able to rent animals. There'll be a depression. The economy is going to be extremely bad. In Shalom and Atzar, and there will be no peace from one's enemy. In Shalom and Atzar, what does that mean? So Rabbi Omer, after min chachamim shekasim him shalom, even for a Talmud Chacham that it says shalom, dechsev shalom rav uyavi torasecha, that there's a great level of peace for those people who love the Torah, those who are the Talmud Chachamim. In Shalom nimnei tsar, even for them, there's not going to be peace. Shmuel Omer ad shiu kol hash'arim kul shekulan. Only when all the markets will be equal. Says Rashi, shavim shar hatvua v'yayin v'revach kenamin chamisha soive gadol. Actually, there'll be a great amount of food. V'yayin lashon acher shekulan shavin shekulan yikarin. It could be that everything's expensive. Amar Rabbi Chanina, Ein ben David ba, Achi is vakish dag l'choyle, that you need fish for someone who is sick. Lo yimatzeh, because the fish won't be able to live. Shnemar oz ashkia miyamehem, they'll be submerged in their waters. V'narosam, in their rivers, kishemen, oilich, just like oil. So just like fish can't live in oil, so too the water is going to be solidified. There'll be a flourishing for the Karen base Israel. So therefore we see that unfortunately there's not going to be available fish, but eventually the Mashiach will come. Ein ben David ba achetichla malchus hazol Yisrael. Only when the leadership, which is cheap and little, will be complete from Yisrael. Shenemar yukaris ha zalzalim, will be cut down those lowly ones b'mismarais, with pruning shears. During that time, yovel shel Hashem, it shall be a yovel to Hashem. Savaka yisim mamshech umayrit, if it's torn down and savaged. All the haughty people will be removed. They'll be removed from amongst you. Those who rejoice in their haughtiness. Those who remain among you will be an am ani v'dal, like humble and poor. V'chasu b'shem Hashem, they'll be detected by the name of Hashem. Fine. All the judges will be gone. And it'll return to you the esrei kavor sigecha of a goimer, that it'll be cleansed like the with soap all of one's impurities. Yashiva shayvtecha, and your judges will then return back to you. Omer Ula, in Yerushalayim niftis el b'sadaka. The only way that Yerushalayim will be paid is by people who give charity. Shnemer tzion b'mishpat tipadeh. Tzion with mishpat will be redeemed. V'shavia b'tzedakah, and those will come back with tzedakah. Amra Papa, I batli hiri. If we would remove haughtiness, as Rashi Gasi Ruach Yisrael, then Gushi, then the Persian oppressors, I batli daini. If we remove Yehiri, then batli Gushi, then the Persian oppressors, as Rashi says, Parsium, as is brought down in Shabbos, Plot the Ikomandi Omer Gushi, Charshi Ikomandi Omer Gedufni of Kachavim, but they're Persian oppressors. I batli daini. If we remove the evil Jewish judges, batli gezirifti, then those who beat with a stick, says Rashi, shoiftim v'kachavim hachayivtin es Yisrael b'makoloi, they'll be removed. I batli hiri batli amgushi. So we said if haughtiness is removed, then these Persian oppressors will be gone. Dechsev the Esther of Kabor Sigecha, it'll be purified like soap, all of the impurities. V'asira kol b'dilayach, and it'll be separated those who rule over you. V'batli daini batli gazir fati. If the bad or evil Jewish judges leave, then the people who hit us will also be removed. Dechsev hasir Hashem mishpatayich. Hashem will remove those who are incorrect in judgment. Pina oivecha, he'll clear out our enemies. So look at question 1. Here, Hashlem es hachaser. Ein ben David ba ad sheyichlu blank Yisrael. So they want us to answer. It's sheyichla. It's a hard question because it says shetichla once, and then it says ad sheyichlu and ad sheyichlu. So it only says ad sheyichlu by two things: by gase ruach, when there's no people who are haughty, or kol shayf mishaytrin, who are the bad judges are removed. Then Mashiach will come. So those are the only two we're looking for. Even though we did say ad shetichle malchus hazol Yisrael, until the leadership, which was cheap and little, will be removed from Klal Yisrael. Okay, fine. All right, let's keep on going. Omer of Yochanan, Imra Isa Dor Shemismayit v'Haylech Chakilo. If you see a generation that just keeps going worse and worse and worse, they're hitting rock bottom, then you should know there's a good chance that Mashiach is coming soon. Shneimar v'es Am Ani Toishia. This poor nation, Hashem will help. The Gomer. If you see a lot of problems and pains and anguish, like a river is flowing, Chakil also you should hope for the Mashiach. Shneimar Kiyavu Kanahar, it comes like a river, Tsar, which is swift. Ruach Hashem Naisasa Bay, and Hashem we strayed. V'samichle Uvaltzian Gail. And then it says immediately afterwards that the Uvaltzian Gail, that we will be redeemed. Okay, the Omer of Yochanan Ein ben David ba El Bador Shekol Kul Zakai Kul Chayiv. Interesting. It's all or nothing, right? It's not just some are good, some are bad. Either we're all horrible or we're all great. Bador Shekul Zakai, if we all deserve it, which is how we actually began this whole parak. We talked about how we're all zeichet to olam haba. Where kol yisol is mezum l'chayim haba. But dor shekul chayiv, we're all bad. D'chsev v'yarki ein ish, that there was no person. V'yish taimim, and there was wonders. Ki ein mafkia, because there's no one that is searching or seeking for Mashiach to come. No one's davening. V'chsev Ma'ani asa, that I Hashem will do it alone. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi Rami, he has to steer. Ksiv, on one hand, the pasuk says Be'ita, the Mashiach will come at its exact time. Nonetheless, Ksiv Achishena, and it says that Mashiach can come quicker than that time. So which one is it? Is Mashiach going to come sooner or later? So it depends. Zacha Achshina. If we're Zoiche, then Mashiach will come before its time. Lo Zachu Ba'ita. However, if we're not Zoiche, then Mashiach will come no matter what at its designated time. Sandu Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, he has to steer ksiv. On one hand, the pasuk says, "Va'aru im anni shemei," that behold, if like the clouds is the name, kibar inish ata, just like a wealthy person. Ksiv ani v'roichev al chamor, that he's going to be riding on the donkey. So the kasha is, what is it? Or is it going to be a time of poverty, or is it going to be a time of wealthiness? Says Rashi, Ka'ani haba al chamori ba'atzlus. It's going to come slowly on a donkey. It's going to come quickly. So zachu imanani. If we're zayich, it'll come quickly like on clouds, with glory. Anani shmei, in all of Hashem's glory. Zach in Mashiach's glory. Zachu ani reichev al chamor. But if we're not Zaycha, then it's going to be like a person riding on a donkey, which is interesting because when we were Mitzrayim, we know that what happened, Taka, was that Moshe Rabbeinu came back on a chamor, which because we were also not Zaycha. We were in the Memtes Shari Tumah. We're in the lowest level of Tumah, and that's the whole notion of the donkey. Amrulei Shvor Malka. So this Persian king said to Shmuel, Armisu Mashiach al Chamrasi. I heard the Mashiach is going to come on a donkey. So Shadule Suse Barkat to Isli. Why don't you take one of my beautiful groomed horses? It'll be a lot nicer, much more coveted. So Amalei Mi Islach Barchir Gavni. Do you have one which is like 100 shades of white, of color? Says Rashi, Sus Mitsurik against Kon Mechabin V'Noah Sheshli to Genai Hu Shav Chamor. It's in a disgrace. He's going to come on a donkey. So Rashi says, Klum Yeshocha Sus Bar Meya Givonim. Do you have a horse which has like 100 colors? Shachamor Shalo Cain. Who b'milsa b'alma dichya. He was just trying to like push him off. He was like kind of like joking around on some level. So Chior actually here means 100, as Rashi says. So Taka is a good question. So why, Taka, are we riding a donkey? We don't want to talk about it, but the truth is, it's because it's an embarrassment, because we're not Zaycha. Really, he should be riding on a nice horse, which is very interesting because when it came to the Septuagint, we actually flipped it. We said that Moshe was riding, the Torah says he was riding a donkey. We told Talmi HaMelech, no, he came on a horse. So maybe this is the whole vort, that we didn't want Talmi HaMelech to think that we were taking that Zaychet to leave Mitzrayim. And therefore, that's why we switched it from a donkey to a horse. He was sitting by the Rashbi's cave, which we know is the Gemara Shabbos. He was there for many years. So he wanted to know, Rabbi Shimon wanted to know, am I going to go to to the world to come? Right? Yeah, it's a legitimate question asking Eliyahu Navi. So Amrulei im yirtza adain hazeh, if that's what the master wants, like im yirtza Hashem, if that's what the Eibishter, what the Shechina wants, then of course, then you'll be able to go. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Shnayim re'isi, 2 people I saw, v'koil gimel shemaiti, but I heard 3 voices. I saw 2. However, I heard 3. So he was a little bit confused by this vision. So fine. So that's what it says. So he said, when are you coming? Zil so he asked, like, when's Mashiach coming? He says, why don't you ask him himself? The Hechi Yosef, where is he sitting? A Pischa de Karta. He is by the gate of the city. Umay Simone. What's the sign that it's him? So Yosef Beni Ani Suvi Soivle Chaloyim. He's actually sitting among those who are suffering. The Kulan Sharu, and they're all in bandages. Yasiri Bachad Zimna, that were all bandaged up. And then untied at one time. Ihu sharichad v'asur. However, he's going to do like one at a time. So he's going to be tending to their wounds. So Amar Dilma Miv'ina Deloy Akov. So he said, maybe Hashem called upon me, and now he's holding back the Bnei Israel only to take care of one wound at a time. So Azul Gabe Amalei Shomalecha Rabbi Mayris. Amalei Shomalecha Bar Levayo. So he called him in a respectful way. He called Rabbi Shimon Levi, the son of a Levi. Amalei Amos Asi Mar. When are you coming already? When's Mashiach coming? So Amalei Hayoim. Today. Great news. Boom. Happened to be learning this sugya, and that's what it says. Today. Today's when Mashiach's coming. Baruch Hashem. Also, what did he say to you? Bar Levaya. So he asked, Eliyahu asked him, what did he say? What did Mashiach say? So we had a little conversation. I promised to you, to your father and the world to come, that this is what he said, basically. And this was a promise. Shakuri Koshakarbi. Taki lied. What do you mean? He said Mashiach's going to come. Didn't come. Hayoim im b'koiloi tishma'u. Yes, he will come today, provided that Taka you do what you're supposed to do. So if we're Zayche, Mashiach can come today. And the only reason why Mashiach's not here is because of something that we are lacking. So it's interesting, again, when he said that there was two people, but three koilos. So some people say that the kol gimel is referring to the schusavos. Fine. And this whole sugya about him bandaging one at a time is the same notion of eyesh or eyeh, that Moshe was told by Hashem, you don't tell them about all the tzodas that are going to happen, but you deal with only one at a time. Shal Tamidim is Rabbi Yosi ben Kisma. It must have been David Bo. When's he going to come? Amar Misyarini, I'm concerned. Shem Tavakshim Menu Ois. You're going to ask some sign. I'm not going to ask you that. I'm like Yipoil Hashar Hazeh. When this gate of Rome falls, the Yivne, the Yipol, it's going to be built and fall again. The Yivne Yipoil. Then Maspikim with Noiso, the third time they're going to say, there's no point in building it. Asher ben David Ba. Amula Ravenu Tain Wanu Ois. So give me a sign. Amulahem Lukacha Marti Li Shena Tim Avakshim Min Ois. I think you're going to ask me for a sign. Amula Viafal Pikain. Even so, we had to ask. So Amulahem Imkach. If that's the case, Yehavchu Me Midas Paimos Ladam. Let the Mars Paimus turn into blood. This is the source of the Jordan River. Then it taka turned into blood. B'shas Petirasai, at the time of when he died, again this is Rav Yosi ben Kisma, it was said, Hamikuli Araini, dig my aron taka very deep into the ground. Okay. What was the significance of that? So as we continue to study Ches Amud Beis, She'ein kol dekel v'dekel shebabavel, because there's not a date palm tree in Bavel. She'ein sus shel parsim nikshur boy, that a horse of the parsim is not tied to it. The ein locha kol aron v'aron she'eretz Yisrael. There's no casket. She'ein sus madai oichel boy teven, that they eat the straw. Says Rashi, Shemoitzin harana is chutz karka, goes out of the ground. The oisin mehen avusin, and they make troughs out of it. That's going to be in the mecham of goy gemagoi. So I'd want to be dug deep, so this will not happen to my aron. Enocha kol aron v'aron shemeretz Yisrael shin sus madai oichel bo teven. Omer Rav ein ben David ba ad shedis pashid malchus al Yisrael tisha chadashim, until it's going to be spread out malchus against the Klal Yisrael for 9 months. Shenemar l'chein yitneim, will rule Ad es yolda, until the time of a woman giving birth. Yater echav yeshuvun, and they'll return al bnei Israel. Amar Ula, Yesi, let Mashiach come, v'loi ichameni, and I will not see it. V'chein Amar Rabbi Yesi, let Mashiach come, v'loi ichmine, and I won't see it. Rabbi Yosef Amar Yesi, let Mashiach come, the aski to Isyayiv. Let it be that I'll be happy to see the Mashiach. But Tula the kufisa, in the shade of dung, the chamre of donkeys. So the morale says the Mashiach is the chevli Mashiach, the pains of childbirth. Then you're born, so too this Berech Hadasha. Fine. Says Rashi, but sil harei shel chamayda kolomer filu b'kachani roitza. I would want to, even under such pretenses. Amalei Abaye Rabba, my time. What is your reason? Is the reason why you don't want to see is because of the pain of Mashiach. How can you be prevented from these pains? That's the remedy. So Umar Hatayim Hagimus Lasadim. So what are you afraid of? Right? You have Tayim Hagimus Lasadim. Amalei Shem and Gimachet. You're right. Even though it's true, I'm a big tzaddik, but maybe I'm going to do a sin, and therefore I may not be so safe. Could Rabbi Yaakov Baridi, dear Rabbi Yaakov Baridi, Rami asked the steer Ksiv, that Yaakov really should have nothing to worry about because Hashem promised him everything's going to be fine. He's going to be with him. That Yaakov was in great distress about Esau coming because he was afraid that maybe he was going to sin. When it says the first time it mentions Hashem's name, that this is more in brachas as well. Zubi Rishayna. This is the first time that we went into Eretz Yisrael with the splitting of the Yarden. Ad Yavoram Zukanisa Zubi Shnia. The second time, says Rashi, B'mei Ezra, Kibir Rishayna B'mei Yoshua. It could have been just as miraculous, but it wasn't. It was just very basic. So Amar Miyata Royim HaYisol Lasos Ahem Neis B'Biyah Shnia, that we could have had miracles in the days of Ezra Nehemiah, Kibir Rishayna, just like the first time in the days of Yeshua. El Shigar Machet. L'chein Rav Yochanan Yesi V'lo Achimene, that I let Mashiach come and I want to see. Amar Reish Lakish, my time, Yilim Mishim Dechsev Kasher Yonus Ish Mimnei Ha'ari, just like a person's running away from a lion. Upigu Hadoiv, and you encounter a bear. Gova Habayis V'Samach Yado, and you lean your hand Elakir to the wall. V'Nashchu Nachash, all of a sudden a snake bites you. Baal V'Erecha, you come and see. Dugmaso Boyum Haza, this happens now anyway. The person goes to a field. Upaga by Santer, and you encounter someone who's surveying your boundaries. It's like a lion. Nichnas you get to your city, Pagabo Gabai. You get a hold of a Gabai, someone who's coming to collect taxes. Daima Kimisha Pagu Daiv. It's just as bad as a bear. Nichnas so you get home, Matsubana Vanaisav Moytlin Barav. They're starving. It's like getting stung by by a snake. So why are you so worried about what will be? This is what's happening now. Ask and see im yelad zachar, by a male child, madur isi. Why do I see the kol gibur yadav al chalatzav, that all who are strong will be on their loins, kiyolda, just like a woman who gives birth, and they become sickly. Myra isi kol gibor, what does that mean? So Amarab bar Yitzchak, Amarab Misha kol gavura shaloi, which is referring to Hashem. Umay v'nehavchu kol upon him l'yirakoin. So Rabbi Yochanan Pamalia Shalmaila. This is the heavenly courts, which is with malachim. Says Rashi. Okay, we'll get to that. Upamalia Shalmata. So we have the malachim and the Yisraelim linked together. The Shashem Hakadosh Baruch Hu Lolo Masiyadei, that when Hashem says these are also my masiyada, even the Rishayim. So avid elu nimne elu. How can I push off one for the other? Amar Papa Hanami Inshi Roiv V'Nafel Taira V'Ozl V'Shadule Suse. If you find an ox that falls, the Ozl goes V'Shadule Suse, and the horses will continue Ba'ariyah in its place. Amar Gidol Amarav Asinim Yisrael Di'achli Shnei Mashiach. In the future times, there will be plenty of food. Rav Yosef Pshita, the man ochelhu, who's going to eat it? Chiluku bilik ochelhu, like it's just like some expression. Like what else do you expect? So Lafukin Reb Chil the Omer Hillel the Omer Ein Mashiach Yisrael Shekvar ochel b'mei Chizkiah. Then he's going to say that no, there's not going to be anything in the times of Mashiach because in the Chizkiyahu was supposed to be the Mashiach, and therefore all got lost from after him. So it says Rahit v'nafel tur v'oz v'shadi susi ba'araya kisharatza sus, when the ox is running, the nafel, and it falls, ma'amidin sus bimkaimo, the horse goes in its place, bavuso in its trough, mashaloha yeroitza lasos kodim mafalto, shall sure what it didn't want to do before the ox fell, because he cared much about the ox, and now the ox is getting healed today or tomorrow. The fall was difficult. To bring out this horse. Once he saw that he didn't fell, he said, "Let me give the gedula to Avi Chachamim." The Hachzir Misel B'Tshuva, that caused the Yisrael to do Tshuva. The Nigolim Kashil Lo Avid of the Chachavim B'nei Yisrael. Okay. So the idea of the Chavla Mashiach is Hashem is about to give birth to Mashiach, but there is a pain of birth that is attached to it. Now, once you have horses replace the ox, firsthand, since he loved the ox, but after he develops a relationship with the horse, and even after the ox is better, it may be difficult to bring the ox back. So the Bnei Yisrael is like this ox, and Hashem is the owner, and that is the element of teshuvah. Okay. Amar Rav Loi Avri Alma El David. The world was only created for David. Shmuel Omer that Moshe was created for Moshe. Yochanan Mashiach. Shmo, what is Mashiach's real name? Right, so we can know his name. So there's a few possibilities. Debei Rebbe says it's Sheila with a shin. Amri Sheila Shmo. Some say that's his name. Ad Kiyavo Sheila. That's what it says until Mashiach comes. His name is Sheila. Debei Rav Yanai Omer Yinoin. So it's interesting. Rav Sheila said it's Sheila. Rabbi Yanai says it's Yinoin. Sounds like Yanai. Shemai. Shnemer Yehi Shemo Oilim Lifnei Shemesh Yinoin Shemo. Debei Rabbi Chanina. What does Chanina say? Omer Chanina Shemo. So each one is saying the name is them, because maybe they're saying that they're shaykh to become the Mashiach. Shnemer Asher Lo Etin Lochem Chanina. Yeshem Menachem Ben Chizkiah Shemo Shnemer Ki Rachak Mimenu Menachem Meishiv Nafshi, he's restored my soul. So it's interesting that the names Menachem, Sheila, Yinoin, and Chanina, if you spell them all out as an acronym, you have Mashiach, the Mem from Menachem, the Shin from Shiloh, the Yud from Yinoin, and the Ches from Chanina. So some people say that Mashiach is all-encompassing of these four, and it spells out again. Actually, Menachem we didn't have. We had Yinoin, Chanina, Sheila, and Menachem. Right. So that spells out Mashiach. For Rabban Amri Chivra de Bei Rav Shemai, the leopard of the Bei Rav will be his name. So again, it connects to the pain of suffering of all the Jews. Shenemar achan chalainu, that he will have these diseases. Hu nasa, he'll lift up. Hu mechavoisenu sivlam, it'll hold back the pain. Nachnu hashavenuhu, and we will see in him negua muka, that he was smitten by Elohim. Umauna, and he is wounded. Amar Nachman, I min chiyahu, if I would be from Chia, alive with, then could go in no, like I, then it should be like me. Shenemar v'haya adiru menu moishlo mikirbu yotza, and from his midst of it. Amar Rabbi, I min chiyahu, could go to Rabbeinu Kodesh, maybe it would be Rabbeinu Kodesh. I min Messiahu, when people have died, could go in Daniel ish chamudais. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rav, Asad Kodesh Baruch Hu lahamid lehem David acher. There'll be another David. Shnemer v'avdu es Hashem Elokeichem v'es dor malachim asher akim lehem, shall establish them. So hakim will nemer el akim. Amar Rav Papa Labai v'ksiv v'dar avdi nasi lehem le'olam, that David avdi is going to be forever. Can go in Kesar upalgi Kesar. It's like Kesar in half, like his assistant. That's what it says. Rashi, Melech v'sheni loy, Kain David hachadash, the new one will be the Melech, and David HaMelech will be sheni loy. So David HaMelech will be the vice, the assistant from the new and improved, if you will. I guess you shouldn't even say that, but maybe that's what it is, Taka. Going Kisri Palgi Kisri. So Darsham Simoy Manaksev, what does it mean when the Pasuk says, Havi Hamisayim Es Yom Hashem, those that desire this day, Lomazelachem Yom Hashem, Hu Choshech Lo'or, it's dark and not light. So Mashal, a tarnagol, it's a mashal to a rooster, Vatalef, and a bat, Shayim Etzafim Lo'or, they were waiting for light. Amalei, tarnagol Atlef, Anim Etzapel Oira, I'm waiting for light, Oira Shalihi, because the light is good for me. V'ata, but you the bat, Lamacha Oira. What is the need for what's the need for light? Because the whole notion of being like blind as a bat. So what do you need the light for? So in this Samach Testament Aleph, V'hayner Meleahu Minal Avoy Mosei Asim Hashem Zikamem Le L'chi Chafu L'hu Chashucha, when it'll be surrounded around and to see this darkness. Lahanu inshi, these people of these Rishayim. Armal milad ka lightly, are you cursing me? Or malay crux, I'm just reading a pasuk. Kihini hachayshech yichas haaretz, that the dark will cover the earth. The arpal umim va'olayach yirzach Hashem ukavoid olayach yireh. Okay, we're gonna stop there. Let's maybe see another question or two. Mehema mikrois shebal hagemara min hatayra of the hachet gairim hafsid taiva. So how do we see that? First of all, question 2, we see it by Yaakov Avinu. He was afraid. Why is he afraid? Because Shem yikar hachet. Also, when we say Advar Hashem Amzu Adyavar Amcha Hashem, so that's the Birishayna, and then Adyavar Adyavor. Let's just look at the pasuk. It says Adyavar Amcha Hashem Zurishayna Adyavar Amzu Kanisa Zurishnia, which means that really we should have had the same nisim in the time of Ezra Nehemiah, but because of Shem Yimachet, it didn't turn out that way. Okay. Okay, question 3 we'll see next time, which is also going to be question TB. So we're not going to get to that. Question 17. Madua Omer Rava Yaisivo Ismani. Why do you say, when Mashiach come, but I don't want to see him? Hari Osik Batari Gvos Chasana Shematsim B'Chevli Mashiach. What's he so afraid of? The Chevli Mashiach, right? He should have nothing to be afraid of. And the answer again is Shema Yigam Achet.